Hey, I'm Barbara O'Neill, and I've got something truly fascinating to share with you today. If you're over 50 and feeling like your body isn't bouncing back the way it used to, this simple remedy could be a game changer. Imagine just 2 drops of castor oil in your navel triggering a chain reaction that supports your body from the inside out. It's natural, affordable, and easy to do at home. Stick with me, and I'll show you how this little-known secret can help you feel revitalized and healthier than ever. Let's dive into this incredible discovery together. And as a special thank you for joining me today, we're giving away 100 free copies of my best-selling book to subscribers. So, if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and leave a comment about why you want to win my best-selling book. Castor oil doesn't have as dramatic effect as the ginger poultice, but castor oil can be used almost indefinitely. You could almost wear it 24/7. Castor oil penetrates very, very deep, and it can break up scar tissue. It can also break up calcifications, and sometimes with arthritis you've got calcified joints. Now, so we'll say calcifications because this is some of the cause for the pain in the joints. So the scar tissue obviously is going to break up a little bit easier than the calcified joints, but eventually it will do it. The key is consistency. Just keep at it. Just keep applying it every day, every day. Some people like to sleep with the castor oil compress overnight. Now, the thicker the compress, I like to do about 6 layers of cloth or maybe 3 layers of toweling, and I stitch it together and we put plastic underneath it. See, when you apply it, let's say you're applying it to the knee, you apply it and then you put the plastic over and then you'll bandage it on. The plastic just keeps the compress from chilling as it does with the ginger, and it also protects your clothes from being soiled from the castor oil, or if it's the ginger juice. The castor oil can be used, the castor oil compress can be used again and again and again and again. You might even use it for a month. By then it might be looking a little bit sad, and you might make a fresh one. I'll leave the decision up to you, because the castor oil is not drawing anything out of you. It's just a vehicle to hold the oil so that it can go into you. So this is a gentler poultice, but it's actually quite powerful. It can break up a bone spur, and so any calcification anywhere in the body, it has the ability to break that up. Remember, it penetrates deeper than any other oil, and wherever it penetrates, it has the ability to break up the congestion, scar tissue, calcification in that area. The more serious the condition, of course, the longer it's going to take, and the longer it's been like that, the longer it can take. So the swollen joints, you might do the ginger poultice for a few hours, and then you might do the castor oil overnight every night. So play with them. Remember, you're the doctor. Listen to what your body says. If it brings relief, do it. If it doesn't bring relief, maybe you need to do it for a little bit longer. Maybe you need to adjust the times that you do it. But your body will speak to you, and it will tell you what it likes. And if you don't get the results straight away, just keep at it. Remember Galatians 6 verse 9, where the Bible says, "Let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we will reap if we faint not." And remember that God gave us these simple natural remedies, and God blesses those natural remedies. So always pray for your poultices and ask God to bless them, and then you'll have the help of the greatest teacher, the greatest physician, the greatest healer that this world has ever known. In fact, the Bible says in some towns, once he passed through, there was not a sick person in that town. Can God still heal? Of course he can still heal. But I believe that what he wants to do is he wants to teach people why they're sick and what they can do to recover from their sickness. And when they go through that experience, they are now qualified to be able to help others, because the most powerful testimony is your testimony.
Castor oil is a versatile natural remedy that promotes healing and rejuvenation during sleep. Regular use enhances circulation, supports lymphatic drainage and aids in toxin removal, helping to reduce inflammation, swelling and pain. Its deep moisturising properties improve skin texture and elasticity, making it effective for dry or irritated skin. Applying castor oil to the navel is especially beneficial. It can boost digestion, ease constipation, and enhance hormonal balance by stimulating abdominal organs. With consistent use, this simple yet powerful remedy can deliver noticeable improvements in your overall health and well-being.
So, let's say dry scalp, eczema. Some people do experience eczema in the scalp. Then you would do the slippery elm and the rosemary. What about hair loss? So for hair loss, an excellent mixture for hair loss would be probably 1/4 cup of coconut oil and 1/4 cup of the castor oil. And then rosemary. So with the rosemary essential oil, you're probably looking about 6 drops. And what the person does is they massage that into their scalp, tie it up in a knot, and try and leave that all day. Someone said, can I sleep with it? Well, if you want, you can sleep with it. And then when it's washed out, be very cautious on the shampoo you use. And I'm going to give you a name of what you never want in your shampoo. It's called sodium lauryl sulfate. And sodium lauryl sulfate is what they usually put into shampoo, sometimes even put it into toothpaste to make it foam. And what sodium lauryl sulfate, it's a chemical that kills the hair follicles. So you don't want that. If you're not sure what the names are on your products, Google them. Which is, it's not hard to do. Yeah?
Have you also a recipe when we would like to make our own shampoo?
I don't have a recipe for making your own shampoo, but remember the guy with the big orange woolly hair and beard? He just washes everything with sodium bicarbonate. I have heard that you can wash your hair with aloe vera, and apparently it'll even soap up.
Castor oil, packed with ricinoleic acid, is a natural remedy for promoting scalp health and hair growth. It boosts blood circulation, strengthens hair roots, and protects against infections with its antibacterial and antifungal properties. Pairing it with turmeric enhances its effectiveness, as turmeric's anti-inflammatory and antioxidant qualities combat dandruff and soothe the scalp. Warm this blend before applying for better absorption and massage it into your scalp weekly. This nourishing combination locks in moisture, repairs dry, brittle hair, and reduces split ends. With regular use, it promotes hair growth, improves scalp health, and leaves hair stronger, shinier, and more vibrant.
Internally, turmeric. Yeah. So how can turmeric be taken internally? You can take it in quite large doses. So I had an injury in my shoulder once. In fact, it was not responding, and so I had a scan to find out what was happening in there, and it showed that I had a full thickness tear of my supraspinatus tendon. Your supraspinatus tendon is the tendon that sits in that dip in your humerus, and your supraspinatus tendon causes your arm to go up. From about there, it's the deltoid. You know, the deltoid is this muscle here that kicks in. So I had a full thickness tear, and I had a 1 centimetre, gap. So I went to an orthopaedic surgeon to get his opinion, and he said, that will need surgery to heal. But he said, we do keyhole surgery now, and you know what they do? They take it up on their computer, and they've got a little cartoon type illustration of what he would do. It was very impressive. I said, whoa, well, that looks fairly non-invasive, because he said, you've got a 1 centimetre retraction. And he said that cannot heal unless it comes together. But I was a public patient because I do not pay into private insurance. So he said, you know, it's going to take a while. And I said, what if I just hire you to do it? How much would you charge? He said, $2,000. And I thought, to have it fixed so quickly, one might consider that. He said, but then you'd have to pay the anaesthetist, and then you'd have to pay the surgery. I said, forget it. And so he put my name down, but you know, I found out later, he put my name down for about 10 months. And I thought to myself, why did he put me down for so long a way? I think he thought that I could do it, because he couldn't believe how much I could do already, and he could see that I was fit. And I could, by looking at him, he was in his early 50s, he was very fit. You know, and a fit person appreciates and acknowledges another fit person. So now that I knew exactly what was happening, I went home and I started to do comfrey poultices. We have comfrey growing. It was winter, so I was grating up the comfrey root, and I was putting a comfrey root poultice on for 4 hours, twice a day. It was painful, and it would often be painful. And so I was taking internally turmeric, and I was taking 6,000 milligrams of turmeric capsules a day. Now, with the poultice on and the 6,000 milligrams of turmeric a day, I was getting 8 out of 10 pain down to 2 out of 10 pain. So that's very impressive. And I had a fairly heavy schedule. I had the retreat, and then the following week I was travelling, and I was giving meetings. So before the meeting, in fact, I had some tops that had big sleeves, so I could put the turmeric poultice underneath and you could barely see it. So that's what I did. And I did it as long as I needed to do it. So when my pain began to subside, I started to just do the poultice once a day. So that, I think we did it twice a day for about 3 weeks. And then I started to ease off. And because it wasn't so much pain, I brought it down to 3,000 milligrams. So I just brought it less and less and did this less and less.
I started using castor oil, and the results have been incredible. This remarkable oil penetrates deeply into tissues, reducing inflammation and relieving congestion in targeted areas. It's especially effective for easing digestive discomfort and provides significant relief from hemorrhoids. Applying a frozen castor oil-soaked cotton ball overnight offers soothing, natural comfort. Additionally, castor oil supports healing, alleviates constipation, soothes abdominal pain, and improves lymphatic flow. Its moisturizing properties also nourish the skin and promote hair health. Simple, affordable, and highly versatile, castor oil is a natural remedy that addresses a wide range of common issues effectively and gently.
Also, underneath the rib are gallstones. It can help to break those up. Round the back to kidneys, it can help to break up kidney stones. So there's a huge amount that the castor oil can do. But it's not a poultice, it's a compress. And as a compress, it can be used again and again and again. So this is how you make it. So you put a little bit of plastic down, and then with the compress, you put several layers. Now, if it's toweling, you might just put one layer, but if it's thin sheeting, I know I do a castor oil on my wrist every night, and I think I've got about 8 layers of thin sheeting on that. So there's your compress. The thicker the compress, the more oil it'll hold, so the more oil can go into you. If you use a paper towel, it'll all just break up. But if you use cloth, you can use it again and again. I've been using the compress I'm using now for, since I left home. No, actually, I made another one in Alabama. So I've been using it for 6 weeks. And then you put the castor oil on and it'll be like a thick bubble, because castor oil is a very, very thick oil. So I'll show you how to put it on from another angle. So here's the plastic here, and here's the compress. And remember, we've got several layers. The thicker the compress, the more oil can go into you. And then when you put the castor oil on, you only put it on this much. That's all you put on, because it is so thick and it sits up like a bubble. And it'll take probably about 15 minutes to soak through. And when it soaks through, it takes up a little bit more of the area. And then you put it on your hot body, whether it be wrist, whether it be abdomen. When the heat from your body thins the oil, and it'll go out even more. I said to one lady who had breast cancer, I said, have you tried castor oil? She said, I'm not going to do that stuff. She said, it leaked everywhere. And I know what happened. When she poured the oil on, she poured this much oil on. And then it's got nowhere to go, except it's going to start dripping everywhere. And she is right, castor oil, you don't want that through your clothes, you don't want that through your bed. So it's important to appreciate what I'm saying about it's better to put a little less. So my compress now, of course, is totally covered because I've worn it every night. I've been wearing it every night for a couple of months, and I have no pain when I wear that. Now, one of the reasons I'm wearing it is because in the X-ray it showed a little bit of osteoarthritis on my joint here. And I know that there was something happening there because it was sore before I even fell on it. I have no pain if I wear that. And I'm so glad that's all I've got, because remember, when my mother was 51, she was a cripple in a wheelchair. So I'm really happy that that's all I've got. Remember, genetics load the gun, but lifestyle pulls the trigger. Could you add essential oil? You could if you want. Do you have to refrigerate it? No, you don't. I've got a little snap lock bag that I folded up and put it in when I travel. And so I'm just in the habit of putting that on every night. Consistency is the key. So if you have got a bone spur you want to break down, the castor oil will break it down, but you've got to be consistent every night, every night. So easy. I open it, put it on, bandage it on. It takes me about 30 seconds. It's easy. You wear it all day? You could wear it all day. Yep, if you want to. Now, about once a week, I put maybe another teaspoon on. No, not a special kind of castor oil. Any castor oil will do it. But it is true that the dark brown Jamaican is a little bit more potent, but we've seen amazing results even just with the clear castor oil. Well, they don't spray castor oil, so, I think there's not much difference between organic and non-organic. It doesn't have to be in a glass bottle at all. It can be plastic, and plastic's much more convenient when you're traveling, because remember, castor oil doesn't absorb anything. This compress is just a vehicle holding it so that it can go into you and start to break up unnatural formations. I do not suggest taking castor oil by mouth. What a relief. It can be irritating in the gastrointestinal tract, but it's very powerful from the outside. I met a lady that she said 20 years ago I was diagnosed with breast cancer. She said I was lying in the hospital. I didn't like what they were offering. And a delivery boy came in and she said to him, "Can I get a lift out with you?" She got out and she went to a friend's house by the sea, a little holiday house that she could stay in. And she heard about castor oil and she said, "I just wore castor oil 24/7. She said, "That was 20 years ago. I don't have breast cancer." No. So the castor oil, little by little, broke it down. If you wear it on your abdomen, you would wear it for at least 5 hours, 5 days a week. Some people, if they wear it too much, it gets the bowels moving too much. But again, you're just watching your body's response. A friend of ours who developed a fibroid, and we were surprised she did because she exercises, plant-based diet, water, you know, she does everything. And we thought, she's only 30. And then we discovered that she's living on a farm next to a macadamia nut farm. And the sprays from the macadamia farm were enough to throw her hormones out. She was rushed to hospital with pain. They did a scan and they found a fibroid that was, let me go to inches, it was probably about 3 inches in diameter. So she decided to go on the yam cream. So tomorrow I'll be talking about hormones, and the yam cream helps balance the hormones. She wore the castor oil compress every night. She said at least 6 nights a week I'd wear it. And she had no more pain, no more rush to hospital. She had another scan, I think it was 4 or 5 months later, and the fibroid had come right down to from, I think it was 3 inches down to 1 inch. So that's the good news. It can break up things.
Castor oil has shown incredible benefits for reducing inflammation and easing discomfort. Applied regularly to the abdomen or joints, it can help dissolve bone spurs, fibroids, and arthritic deposits. Combining it with turmeric enhances its effectiveness, as turmeric's potent anti-inflammatory properties boost the healing process. Massaging this blend onto affected areas nightly can provide noticeable relief over time. Castor oil also improves circulation, supports lymphatic drainage, and promotes natural detoxification. With consistent use, this affordable remedy can transform your health, offering a gentle, natural alternative to harsh treatments for managing pain and supporting overall healing.
And castor oil is something that penetrates deep into the body. I never advise taking castor oil by mouth because it can be quite irritating. So I'm going to show you how to make a pack. So here is, I think we're familiar with them, they're blueies. Oh, this is a greenie, but it's an incontinence pad. So what we do is we get those and we cut them and we take off that top layer and we put several layers in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 6 layers of that oil sheeting in there. You see, the thicker the compress, the more castor oil it can hold, and the more castor oil that can go into your body. And what we do then is we tape the edges. And the reason we go to a bit of effort to do this, you can also stitch the corners, because this is a compress, so it can be used again and again and again and again. And the beauty of it is it has a plastic backing on it, and you want that plastic to protect your clothing. A castor oil compress is something that I apply to my hand every night. So you might notice I've still got a little bit of swelling in my hand. It's been only 8 weeks since I broke this. The X-ray confirms that my bones are healed, but there's still a little bit of swelling there because it was quite a serious break. So I've brought you over my castor oil compress, and I've used one of those sheets that the 15-year-old's knee went through, and I've actually got about 10 layers there, and I put that on my on my hand like this, and I bandage it. I'm getting very good at this because I do it every night, because I quickly discovered my husband's not a nurse. He does it in a bit of a hurry and doesn't do it quite right. And so there's my castor oil compress that I will sleep with. I sleep with it every night. So why am I putting a castor oil compress on this? Because that was quite serious damage. My ulna was fractured, my radius was totally broken and out of place. Whenever you've got an injury, you've got the possibility of scar tissue building up. And so this is very good at stopping scar tissue developing, and many people have problems years later from after an injury from scar tissue. So if someone maybe had appendix taken out 10 years ago, sometimes they get more problems now because of scar tissue building up from that. So castor oil will break up any unnatural substance. So it'll break up a bone spur. It'll break up kidney stones. It'll break up gallstones. It will even help to break cataracts up. So you can put a drop of castor oil on your finger and wipe it over your eye, then do it to the other eye. Could you put it in your eye? Absolutely. It's just easier to wipe it over your eye though, because it's so sticky. So if you know what castor oil does, you start to know where to apply it. When I was in I think it was Nebraska last year, a lady came to me and she was in her 70s. She said, my foot had this bunion on it, and the bunion came out about 1/2 inch. She said, I've been applying a castor oil compress to it every night for 2 months and it's gone. So that's good news. So any bony formations, bone spurs, very good at breaking up bone spurs. Obviously it's not going to do it overnight, and it's not going to do it sometimes in a month. Depends how long it's been there, depends how big it is, depends how serious it is. I've known ladies to break up fibroids by applying the castor oil compress. This would be a good size for the abdomen. So for endometriosis, it'll break up endometrial pockets, it'll break up cysts, it'll break up fibroids. And as you heard today, it's also important to balance the hormones. So balance the hormones, because it's that high estrogen that causes those growths, and then apply the castor oil compress. And we've seen ladies helped again and again with that. You can also use a castor oil compress on the chest if there's a congestion in the chest. You could wear it on the abdomen, not only for fibroids but also for constipation. I met a lady who told me she'd conquered her irritable bowel with castor oil compresses. She said, my husband's a doctor and I was not interested in what he had to offer. And I'd heard about the castor oil. So castor oil can be used in so many areas. If someone's got a sore knee, they might do a ginger poultice one night, they might do a potato poultice the other night, and then another night they might use the castor oil, and just observe what your body likes. I've had in my thumb a little bit of rheumatoid arthritis, because I have inherited the genes there. If I wear this castor oil compress every night, it never causes me any trouble. I've been wearing this compress. Well, I haven't been wearing for 8 weeks because my hand was in plaster for a while, but I've been wearing this one I've got on now for several weeks. So you can use it again and again. In the morning, I'll touch it and I'll look at my finger, and if I see oil there, I know it's still got enough oil. But if it starts to get a little bit dry, I'll put another maybe teaspoon of oil on it. Maybe after another month, I might make another one. When it starts to look a bit sad, you might make another one, but you can use the same compress for several weeks.
Thank you for staying with me today. I hope you're as amazed as I am by the powerful effects of something as simple as castor oil. Remember, health doesn't have to be complicated. Small changes can create a big impact. If you found this information valuable, I'd love for you to share it with someone who might benefit. Don't forget to like, leave a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe for more insights that can transform your health. Together we can spread the message of natural healing. Until next time, take care of yourself and keep exploring these wonderful remedies.